us to dedicate our lives ever more perfectly to Him, how will He find us?
Awake and ready.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
great masters of self-realization,
great masters of self-realization,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
beloved Master,
beloved Master,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all religions,
saints of all religions,
we humbly invoke Thy presence,
we humbly invoke Thy
and
presence,
bow before Thee.
and bow before Thee.
Help us
Help us
to follow the one common highway
to follow the one common highway
of self-realization
of self-realization
that leads to Thee,
that leads to Thee.
no matter our outer practice,
No matter our outer practice,
our outer religion, our caste, our creed,
our caste, our creed,
may we find that one realization
may we find that one realization
of our unity with Thee,
our unity with Thee,
and share it with all.
and share it with all.
Om. Peace.
Peace.
Amen. Please have a seat. Let's start with the song.
Sing our freedom as we soar lightly on the air. So may our hearts soar like all birds and bears. Mother, we thank you, your joy shines in everything. Oh, these channels that the world once more may sing.
Trees standing firm, hold the secret of inner power. Give us when tested strength to endure. Mother, we thank you, your joy shines in everything. Open these channels that the world once more may sing.
Stars and romance intertwine through eternity. Lord, when in darkness your radiance we see.
Mother, we thank you, your joy shines in everything. Open these channels that the world once more may sing. Flowers so soft and fragile, stay fragrant though pressed to the ground. May we thus learn forbearance, for in kindness love is found. Mother, we thank you, your joy shines in everything. Open these channels that the world once more may sing. Mother, we thank you, your joy shines in everything. Open these channels that the world once more may sing.
Continue to meditate, with your eyes closed and your gaze uplifted. Listen to these words on our affirmation for this week by Swami Kriyananda on self-confidence. Self-confidence, as it is normally understood, recalls to mind images of army generals and cowboy heroes, people, in short, who know their blacks from their whites. But life's alternatives are usually much more complex. Self-confidence on the spiritual path is of another order altogether. It means confidence in the inner self, not in the ego. It means living from within, living by truth rather than by opinions. It means living by what God wants, not by what man wants. Thus it means living by faith in the sure knowledge that although man is fallible, God is infallible. And now let's affirm together, first in a strong voice out loud, grabbing the attention of the conscious mind. I live in the assurance of God's truth within.
I live in the assurance of God's truth within.
In my inner self.
In my inner self.
And not in the opinions of others.
And not in the opinions of others.
Lies true victory.
Lies true victory.
And now taking it a little softer, more inward. I live in the assurance of God's truth within.
I live in the assurance of God's
into the subconscious mind, I live in the assurance of God's truth within. In my inner self, and not in the opinions of others, lies true victory. And now silently bringing it to the point between the eyebrows, broadcasting it at the superconscious level, mentally, I live in the assurance of God's truth within. In my inner self, and not in the opinions of others, lies true victory. In my inner self, and not in the opinions of others, lies true victory. And pray silently with me. What matter if people blame me? Of what importance is their applause? I live to please thee, Lord, confident that when thou art with me, I am protected, though it be from an enemy horde. Om. Peace.
Peace.
Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Sunday service. My name is Dharmadevi. My husband Narayan. Welcome to those online. Welcome Colleen and all of our other friends joining us online today. This is week 39 from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. Many are the pathways to truth. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. On the dedication page of Swami Kriyananda's book, The Path, appears the following account. A group of Paramhansa Yogananda's disciples had gone with him to see a movie about the life of Gyandev, a great saint of medieval India. Afterwards, they gathered and listened to the master explain certain subtler aspects of that inspiring story. A young man in the group mentioned another film he had seen years earlier in India about the life of Mirabai, a famous woman saint. If you'd seen that movie, he exclaimed, you wouldn't even have liked this one. The guru rebuked him. Why make such comparisons? The lives of great saints manifest in various ways the same one God. The Bible contains a similar account in the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 9. And John said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him, because he followeth not with us. And Jesus said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. The more central a truth, the greater the number of contexts in which it can be applied. Truth is like a pure white light, containing within itself the full spectrum of the rainbow. Let no one tell you what your path to God ought to be. Many are the paths. Select your own according to the dictates of your own nature, no matter how out of step that puts you with other people. Sri Krishna in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita states, trying even unsuccessfully to fill one's own spiritual duty, dharma, is better than pursuing successfully the duties of others. Better death itself in the pursuance of one's own duties. The pursuance of another's duties is fraught with spiritual danger. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om. Om.
I want to welcome you all also this evening. I would like to start Whispers from Eternity. This is Yogananda's book of prayer demands. And I'm actually just going to read the dedication, and then at the end I'll actually read one of the prayer demands that Yogananda gave. Dedicated unto all the soul temples of Christians, Muslims, Buddhist, Hebrews, Hindus, and others, wherein the cosmic heart throbs equally, always, and unto the multicolored lamps of all true teachings, in which shines the same one white flame of God, and unto all churches, mosques, viharas, tabernacles, and temples of the world, wherein our own one Father dwells impartially in the fullness of his glory. Isn't that incredible? It's just the dedication to this book. Yogananda talked about, where Swami Kriyananda, our Swamiji, met Yogananda was here in Los Angeles at the SRF Hollywood Temple, and they had that sign. I'm not sure they still have it there, the Church of All Religions. Yeah, right? And that was Yogananda's, the way that he presented self-realization, that it's not another. In fact, when Swami Kriyananda asked him, is this a new religion, right, you brought, he said, no, it's a new expression of ancient truth. And that is what we feel. This is the one common highway that he talked about, that all religions come and meet in self-realization, because it doesn't matter our outer caste or creed, right, or color or beliefs. What really matters is who we are on the inside. A funny story that happened to me just yesterday. We talk about these universal things, but of course when we go out and live our lives on a daily basis, that's when they're truly tested. And so Dharmadevi and I were driving from Santa Monica. We were at the center at a class yesterday, and then we were watching Finding Happiness in the late afternoon. And so we went and got a cafe in Santa Monica, and we were coming back here to the temple. And no, it was before we got the cafe. So I was looking for a place to stop, and I was driving below the speed limit, which is abnormal for me. And it was like on Wilshire in Santa Monica, where the speed limit is maybe 30 miles an hour or something like that, and I was going, outrageous 20. And so this man, when I'm driving, because I was looking for a place to park, and I kind of slowed down. This man pulled up, driving right next to us, our windows down. This was the windows down. I was like, "Hey, buddy, the speed limit's 30, not 3 miles an hour." So he just blurted out this insult at me, and I just said, "Wait a minute, my mother is insulting me right now." And I just didn't respond. But sometimes these things happen, and it's like Sister Gyanamata used to say, that your religion is tested in the cold light of day. And so for me to have even judgment, right, of him, he should have acted a certain way. That's what this reading actually today is all about, how one ought to be. Well, he shouldn't have been so rude, right? Who am I to say? I was driving slow, and he had a right to be upset with that. And who cares? Dharmadevi wrote a beautiful little article recently in our newsletter called "The Importance of Being Unimportant." And this is a beautiful thing on the spiritual path, is that we're trying to transcend our ego, right? The ego is the great stumbling block on the spiritual path. We need to learn how to practice true humility, which isn't self-abasement, self-deprecation, but self-forgetfulness. Sorry, another self-deprecating, funny story. I have a friend who recommended to me, he's like, you need to use coconut oil for your aftershave. I was like, I've never used coconut oil. I've never used aftershave. I've never used before shave. He's like, no, it helps with the skin and this, that. And so I started using it for a couple weeks, and then I thanked him a few weeks later. I was like, thank you. I never used aftershave. He's like, oh, that's okay. He's like, you're young, you're Italian, you're macho. And I was like, what? And then I was like, what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the importance of being unimportant. And that's the important point is to forget ourselves. Do you know that story of Ma Rabia? She was that Sufi mystic woman saint, and her devotees came to her on her deathbed, 3 of her woman disciples, and they said, "Oh, Mother, he is no true lover of God who does not suffer for the love of God." And she said, "No, this speaks of ego." And then the second woman said, "Well, Ma, he is no true lover of God that does not suffer willingly." And she said, "No, this too smacks of ego." And then the third one said, "Well, you, Ma, you tell us, who is the true lover of God?" And she said, "He is a true lover of God who forgets himself in his love of the divine." You know, if you love something deeply, if you love someone purely, right, you forget yourself. There's not an agenda, what's in it for you. There was that book that Swami used to talk about. It was a big bestseller back in the day, "What's in it for you?" You know, that's sort of the modern day, the disease of our world, right, which is this greed and this selfishness. And to overcome that, we learn by selflessness, right, by giving of ourselves, by sharing, that we're happier. We were watching Finding Happiness last night, and it's this beautiful movie about the Ananda communities, but it's not about Ananda, it's about community, about sharing, and about the joy that comes when we share with others. And that's why Swami Kriyananda, when he came to Yogananda, he said he had those 2 desires: to find God, to find truth, to find peace, to find true happiness, however you want to define it, and to share it with others. Because, in fact, Yogananda said that it's a divine law that you must help free 6 others for your freedom. And that when you find freedom, that it's a blessing for your family, 7 generations frontwards and backwards. Isn't that an incredible statement? It's like, you know, a stillness in that drop of water, which ripple tides go out. It has this great ripple tide effect of blessing. And that blessing is really the only thing that matters. But how do we make it real for ourselves? How do we know that we're moving in the right direction? Our directional development, yes, is towards self-realization, but how do we know that we're moving the right way? I wanted to share, this is from the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the explanation of that Gita passage that Dharmadevi wrote. "The supreme duty of every man is, of course, to realize the one-self God. One's own path to that realization, however, might be quite different from those of others, and from any that others urge upon him. If one hasn't a true guru to tell him his own best direction, he should follow the inner prompting which tells him, 'This is my course to true freedom.' Freedom from further involvement in Maya is the highest criterion of virtue. People may mistakenly say, 'But I feel more joy going in the direction of sense satisfaction.' Since they haven't experienced yet divine joy, they may easily be tricked by the mere excitement of sense pleasure. Others say equally, 'But when I see this woman or that man, I feel overwhelming love. Surely that feeling must be right.' The result, as they proceed along the twisting thoroughfare between birth and death, often takes such enthusiasts very far from their first emotions of infatuation. Inner freedom is therefore the safest moral guideline. Ask yourself inwardly, will I feel freedom in this contemplated enjoyment? Will I feel freedom in this desired love? The next question, of course, is what will I feel free from? From the pinch of desire is not freedom. It is merely momentary relief. One's feeling of freedom must be calm and inwardly expansive." That was a beautiful way that Swamiji helps elucidate this point, that it's calm, a sense of inner freedom, but calm, expansive inner freedom. That's the best guideline for us to know if we're moving in the right direction. And for all of us, it's different. Yet there are universal teachings and things that we practice on the path of yoga and meditation and techniques, but that's why we have this course called the Art and Science of Raja Yoga. You know, the art form comes with how we apply that to our daily life. I recall I'm from the East Coast, and I had this job in the financial markets, and everything was going great, and then I felt this divine calling. I found Autobiography of a Yogi, and I just felt this yearning to share and take yoga teacher training and this sort of thing, and then move to Ananda village. And I had this inflection point of telling my family that I was going to leave the East Coast and the good job and all of the things that come with it to move to a spiritual community. I mean, can you imagine? You're the guy that was, hey buddy, it's 30 miles an hour, not 3. Like, my family was way worse than that. It was like, there shows The Intervention. It was like my family was like the Italian Intervention. It was like a lot of The Godfather or something, posturing and this sort of thing. But I had to go off of my inner experience, and I felt that this direction was leading me towards calmness, towards greater joy, towards greater freedom, towards expansion. One of the great delusions is the family. Sri Yukteswar actually talks about the meannesses of the heart, this pride of pedigree and pride of nationality. That proud to be, whatever, Italian, or proud to be whatever you are. But we need to break out of those fancy frozen boundaries so that our heart, like that chant, the temple of our heart, embraces not just our friends and family. It's easy, right? Like Christ said, it's easy to love your friends and your family, but when the guy is telling you you're driving 3 miles an hour into 30, that's where the real practice comes in. So let us make a greater effort to feel that inner sense of calmness, expansion, and joy. And how do we do that? Meditate. Learn to meditate. Take the time, just 5 minutes a day. If we brush our teeth in the morning, you wouldn't go out and speak to someone at work and right, without brushing your teeth. This is like your spiritual hygiene. Just take that time to be silent. We're always, right, with such a busy world, and everyone's talking and we're talking and we're with our friends. Take that time. When you wake up in the morning and maybe you have a loved one with you and you say, I love you. How about waking up in the morning and telling Divine Mother, I love you, and I'm going to take this time to be with you and to commune with you. Hearing they hear not, no, but I hear you. I hear you in the silence of my own heart and soul. God bless you. I want to close with this Whispers from Eternity. Universal prayer in the cosmic temple, with a myriad of living thoughts of devotion, I have built for thee a temple of awakened silence. I have brought the multicolored lamps of wisdom from all valid faiths. They shine with the luster of thy one truth, the co-mingled incense of human craving, for thy love soars up in spirals from the incense bowl of our hearts. Thy sacred presence shines on altars everywhere. All prayers of all temples, tabernacles, churches, mosques, and viharas are chanting to thee in the universal language of deep love. The orchestra of our combined feelings plays in harmony with the chorus of all soul songs, with the cry of all tears, with the bursting shout of all joys, and with the united anthem of all prayers. In this wall-less cosmic temple of the soul, we worship thee, our one Father. Be pleased to reveal thyself to us always. Amen. Om. Amen.